Hey guys, so I'm just here in a quiet room, um, and I have a constant ring in my ear, and I don't constantly think about it. And how did I do that? Because if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I would say that it would be absolutely impossible to do that. And now it's just my life. It's normal. But 2.5 years ago, I was going through maybe the or among the very worst times of my life where I thought my life was over as in terms of just being able to be normal. I thought that this ring is never going to go away, and I had some other things too. I really just really bad anxiety for one, and I couldn't sleep was another. And this combination of these things just made me feel like basically there was nothing really that worthwhile about life anymore. It was, but I wasn't like thinking I wanted to end it or anything like that, but I was just like, I'm gonna try to find a way, but I may just have to accept that life isn't as good as it used to be. And now I'm doing awesome. So how did I do that? And maybe I can share a little bit in hopes that maybe you could do it too or do something similar, because I know how it really sucks to have a loud sound in your ear and it's not going away, and like it's driving you batty. So I had a formula that I used to talk about, and I'll talk about it again now, that I feel like was sort of my formula that helped me to get better. That being said, there was a couple things I did that kind of really got me where I felt like I was finally moving in the right direction and I actually was feeling better. But even though I did that, it took a long time to really, really, really get better where I'm just laying here in this room. It's, for the most part, silent in here. There's like the windows are closed and there's some outside noise, but I'm not even thinking about it. It doesn't bother me at all. So the formula, I always have to preface by saying, go to the doctor, have them look at your ears, check your health, and make sure there's nothing weirdly wrong with you, which is highly unlikely unless you already know about it. You already know you have a health problem or something, but just because you have the sound in your ear, it's highly unlikely that you have something seriously wrong with you. You can almost rest assured with that by me telling you that, but I'm not qualified to tell you that. It's better to talk to a doctor about that. But it's really important to understand that it won't hurt you. It's nothing's going to happen to you. It's also, while it's good to protect your ears and stuff, and try to avoid loud noises, especially really loud ones. You don't have to go around worrying all the time that some small thing might make everything much worse. More likely than not, your anxiety about it is part of what's making it, not so good now. But you probably don't have to go around, worrying about any little thing, eardrops, medications, water in your ear, things like that. Unless the doctor told you something like that, you're probably going to be fine even in those situations. So, but really taking to heart that nothing's going to happen to you because of tinnitus is really important. It's not just from the perspective that I'm telling you that and you're kind of understanding it. It's from your subconscious. Like when you consciously know that, you know that nothing's going to happen to you, your subconscious brain starts to change a little bit and it starts to accept what you just said consciously. And then some of the chemistry in your body that creates all the anxiety about the sound starts to change. So just really knowing that nothing's going to happen to you because of the sound is super important to your chemistry changing in a positive direction. So try to get that first. Um, and then background noises, like if you can look up, tinnitus sounds, but just things like ocean waves, the sound of the shower, and you can even search for like 10 hours, and there'll be like a 10-hour one. If you can find something that sounds similar to your tinnitus, that is something that should be able to help you not notice it as much, and you can keep that sound near you. It should give you a little bit better feeling, and that'll be temporary. But when I say temporary, it might be for a long while, maybe several months, or even a few years. Um, but I've heard people just didn't need anything after a couple months. But having the sound can just be one tool in your arsenal to help you stop thinking about it all the time. So then the next step is there's a couple. I'm going to say, if you're really in the bad spot, you want to play the background noise. You want to understand that it's not going to do anything to you, and you want to try to see if you can a little bit fight to get yourself thinking about some other things. You might have to sort of go through the motions at first. You're still thinking about it, but you're trying to push to think about something else. It might be something like drawing a drawing. Even if you can't draw, look for a tutorial online about how to draw Harry Potter, maybe, and then get some pens and go to work. It doesn't matter if you're a good artist. The idea is you're using your brain to do something else. Learn a language. Memorize the lyrics to a song, and just try to get your brain busy on that thing. This is the part that's going to take practice. Really getting good at diverting your thoughts, and as you have these thoughts of the sound and how it's bothering you, you want to keep trying to move back to drawing the drawing, learning the language, exercising. Maybe you can have a teacher teaching you something online, but anything to change your thoughts. Okay, so that's that. Being able to divert yourself. So we've got the knowing it's not going to hurt you after you see the doctor. Make sure, and really knowing it's not going to hurt you. And then it's the background noise, and then it's the diverting your thoughts. And then the next one is pretty difficult at first for you when you're just slammed by tinnitus so hard. So this one, it takes a little longer to develop, and it kind of goes with the last one of diverting your attention. But examining your beliefs about the tinnitus, hearing what you're saying to yourself, and changing it. So when I really started making some bigger progress, I decided I was going to try to do some Jedi mind tricks on myself. And I was hearing myself saying just how terrible I was, how terrible the sound is, how awful it was. And I decided I'm going to flip that. More from a brain standpoint. And I was going to maybe go so far as lying to myself. I know that kind of sounds weird, especially when you're knowingly lying to yourself. But I was going to say, it's a beautiful sound. I love the sound of the tinnitus. It's like the sound of the universe. And the universe is a beautiful place. And I love being in it. And I hear the universe all around me. Maybe I'm in a beautiful forest, and it's kind of like the sound of crickets. But this sound in my brain is just me. And I'm alive and beautiful and wonderful. And the sound gives me a good feeling. Do you see what I'm doing there? The sound gives me a good feeling. It's kind of like a Jedi mind trick. You're flipping it. And I know that might not be easy for you to accept doing that, but it's another thing where if you can start to repeat it enough, it's going to change your chemistry, your brain chemistry, and you won't have so much anxiety. You won't see it the same way. And, all these 4 things that I've given you all should lead to you experiencing the tinnitus where it's not so loud. I don't want to go so far as to say that it actually changes the sound, but I will go so far as to say that I'm sitting here in a quiet room and it doesn't bother me at all and I'm not thinking about it. So the way you think about it can be like everything. So, and you can get to where you're just so normal and fine and nothing's wrong, but it can take time. The sudden sound that you started hearing, however long it was ago, probably quickly programmed your brain where you were freaked out. Oh my God, there's this sound. I've got to solve this problem. Then you can't solve the problem. And then you have these negative thoughts about it. And they got really set into your programming. So to suddenly change your programming and say, first, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I've seen the doctor. I'm fine. And then second, to say, oh, I'll put a background noise in the background and I don't even notice it when I have the background noise. And then third, oh, I can change my thoughts and learn a language and draw drawings and I don't even think about tinnitus. And then fourth, oh, it's a beautiful sound. What a beautiful sound this is. You know, to go through that whole story in just this 11-minute, or I guess we've been having this 11-minute video so far, and suddenly be great. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I was a magician and could suddenly snap my fingers and everything will be perfect. But think of all these things. I'll say them one more time. Just knowing nothing's going to happen to you. And I told you about the doctor thing because I'm not a doctor. And then, but knowing, because that changes your chemistry. Your brain stops trying to solve it so much. Okay, nothing. I don't have to solve anything. Nothing's going to happen. And then you have the background noise, and it's kind of like a sound that's similar. So it's like it distracts the brain away from it. Your ears don't quite register the sound as well. So then that's another thing that kind of changes your chemistry, where you're not so focused in on. Then you start learning to first fighting at first to get your thoughts on something else, drawing a drawing, learning a language, reading a book, talking to somebody. Virtually anything except thinking about the tinnitus, and just keep being able to switch. Your brain gets better at switching away from the thinking about the tinnitus and switching over to something else. But that takes practice. And then changing your whole belief about it and saying, actually, it's not so bad at all. I love the sound. It's beautiful. I mean, I don't really actually love the sound. It's beautiful, but I do that. I think like that because it changes my chemistry about how I, perceive it. And it makes all the difference. And I actually, it's just a sound I've got now, I don't have to solve it. It may just go away one day, but if it doesn't, I'll be okay. So that's my video for today. I haven't been making so many videos, but hopefully I took a little time and made a good one today. I hope it helps you. And, I'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful day. See you.